Hello, everyone. This is Sam Eccles-Irwin from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the director of the Oregon Screams Horror Film Festival. Right now, we are gearing up for our Fall 2025 event, which is going to take place on September 18th at the beautiful historic Clint Street Theater in Portland, Oregon. And in preparation for that, we are talking with some of our participating filmmakers. Today, we're talking with Sam Morgan, who is the writer and director behind The Most Terrifying Man in the World. Sam, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Happy to be here.
Well, so The Most Terrifying Man in the World is uh, it's a crazy movie. It's weird, very kind of experimental, and has one of the most unique concepts of any film I've seen at this festival. So tell me, what inspired this film?
Well, it's kind of just the general fear I've always, well, not that I've always had, or I guess you could say I've always had it, but the idea of being kind of on a different wavelength from everyone else, not being able to properly communicate, but just being alone. Like the idea of waking up one morning and being isolated from everyone else, or like everyone else can't hear you, or just some way in which you're somehow disconnected from the rest of the world has always seemed like a terrifying concept to me.
Absolutely, being taken out of your normal reality and thrust into something without your knowledge. Well, so tell me a little bit about this. What appears to be sort of a dream sequence at the beginning. What was your inspirations for that? This sort of Lynchian intro you have.
That right there, exactly. David Lynch, 100%. I even there's a little credit to him at the end of the movie, actually.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, I'm getting the sort of the early short films and the alphabet is coming through with those faces.
That was completely my inspiration was those. In fact, actually, it was originally just going to be three. The nightmare was just going to be like three brief sequences, and then I was watching some old David Lynch shorts for fun, and I was like, yeah, I've got to add some more because what I have there is not going to be enough, and so I just came up with a few other ideas on the fly.
Well, I love it. It really sets the tone as something that's going to be both scary, but also sort of weird and different from what you normally see with this kind of stuff. Talk to me a little bit about the shooting process. It's really interesting how it's all point of view. What was that like?
Well, what's interesting for me is it was the first short film I ever shot. So like I've barely shot normal, shall I say normal film.
Okay.
So for me, this is like kind of the standard. This is the biggest thing I've ever worked on. I did a couple of micro shorts on my own, which you can find on my YouTube channel, and I did a another short with this group I work with. It was a sequel to something else he had made, but funny thing is, actually, the footage got corrupted, and they had to reshoot it, and they did that without me. So, yeah, Terrifying Man's easily my biggest thing, and that was all in POV. So that's what I'm mainly accustomed to. Like when I tried to block out the next thing, I completely I was lost.
Totally. Well, it's a great first effort. I had no idea that was your first film. It feels very full and very professionally done. What was any? Do you have any anecdotes from the shooting process? I know you're outdoors a lot. I know you have a big cast. Was it difficult? Was it easy? What was that like?
Well, I remember there was one problem with it being outdoors was the fake blood I used. I got this really cheap fake blood that I've had in my little makeup box for years, and I didn't realize how crappy it was. So I bring it to the set, and we start shooting with it, and we didn't do any test runs with it, which we should have, because it dried like instantly. So it's like it's a fresh wound, and then he looks down in his
Oh
pants
man.
from dried blood. So I tried to fix it with color correcting a bit, but I don't know if it really works. But yeah, you can definitely tell it's dried up. It kept happening. I kept being like, okay, add more blood for the next take, and then they would, and then you start rolling the camera and it's dry.
Well, since you set it up from the beginning to be this sort of eerie, otherworldly experience, I think as an audience member, I totally buy whatever you deliver as blood or wounds or gore as just being something that we accept from the audience side. Talk to me a little bit about the gore. It is rare to see special effects like that. We do have a head being severed, and we've got some wounds. Not all people are interested in putting those special effects practical into their work. But what's your mantra about that?
Well, my philosophy on gore is it's something that should be used. It's not something that you just throw out randomly. Like you don't just throw it in here and there and think that's what's going to make a scene scary. It's what can elevate a scene, but it can also be superfluous. With this, I thought the idea of the head being chopped off, like this bandaged guy on a thing, and his head gets chopped off with a medieval axe. I thought it was just really eerie and surreal, and whether it actually was is up for debate. But no, I did all the special effects myself, which may or may not have been a mistake because I mean, I assume you've seen the melting face effect.
Oh, I thought it looked great.
You did?
That was super cool. Yeah.
I did. So I did test footage of that I thought was much better. I think my biggest mistake was I didn't make the stuff red, and instead it came out brown. I should have made it red, and it was actually 12 hours of footage that that I time lapse into like 5 seconds.
Wow. And so was it just melting by, natural causes? It was just, or were you blow drying it or doing something to heat it up
Well,
and decay it? Or
well, I just sculpted the faces onto a meltable clay that I made onto those little skulls, and then yeah, I just had three hair dryers pointing at them in front of a green screen with my camera pointing down.
well, I love that. I think the effect is great, and it just looks like the decay of time. It's really awesome. Well, tell me, what did you learn from this experience? Because this is your first short. You have special effects. You have a big cast. Are there anything you took away? A learning experience.
Um, well, I learned that I think I have a long way to go in terms of working with people because I don't have that much experience with collaborative stuff. And of course, this is a film is a collaborative medium. But I don't know, I feel like maybe there were a couple times where I didn't get along too well. I wouldn't say I didn't get along too well, but there were a couple times when I mean I don't want to say I was a complete jackass or anything, but maybe there were a few times that, or maybe it's just in my head, but there were a few times that I think maybe I might have been a little difficult to work with. I hope not, but
Well, when you're in that high stress situation, directing a movie and filming a movie, especially independent, emotions fly. But I've definitely been quite a handful on sets, that's for sure. But the end result is great. Everyone got to be a part of something that looks great and feels good. So I think that's a nice takeaway. What was the most difficult part about shooting this?
most difficult part. I remember toward the end when we were shooting in the park, the sun was going down, and so we were about to lose our lighting completely. And then so the shot, the shot at the end where you see Jake's body on the floor. So because that's of course that's me on the ground. So I was wearing regular clothes. I wasn't directing in a t-shirt and sweatpants. And so we shot that last. And so by that point the sun was going down, and I had to run to change. I had to run to a bathroom that was like a mile away and then run back in those little sandals, which didn't, I could have just worn my regular shoes because they didn't even end up being visible on screen.
I
But
feel that.
yes, so it was, that was pretty difficult. The effects work was difficult, especially the melting heads thing, because that just took so much longer than I thought it was going to.
Totally. I love the effort put into it. It's sort of funny to think these little things like, oh, great, I have to be in the movie now. I need a costume change. I think these are the little experiences that you'll sort of build up. And then for your next shoot, you'll be like, oh, if we have a costume change, we got to think about that at the beginning. And all these things will turn into just these checklists that I think you'll have ingrained. What was the most fun part about this shoot?
The most fun part was just, I guess, just getting to see my idea realized. And I definitely, even though I was saying earlier, there may have been some hiccups with my s- uh, with my working with people. I think overall I had fun working with people, and I certainly hope they had fun working with me. I hope I wasn't too big a nightmare. Um,
Well, you know what? I mean, I think the end result is great, and it wouldn't be so good if it was a huge disaster of a shoot. So I
well, there.
think I would consider that a good point. Um, well, tell me this: I'm sure you're not stopping at one movie. What do you have next on your plate?
I'm working on two shorts right now. I'm still in the writing process. One of them is a psychological drama, and I'm still working on the structure. That's why I won't go into that one. The other one is called The Red Lamp. It's about an allegedly true story about this guy who saw a coffee lamp, a lamp on his coffee table that was blurry. It was like flat looking, and he just becomes fixated on it. And then there's a twist to it that's absolutely horrific to think about. I don't want to give away what it is, but
Totally interesting. Well, I love that idea. So I mean, it's like another example of something in your reality just changing or something shifting, and now you're in this world of horror. I kind of love that concept. Definitely something that I've thought about a lot and given me the goosebumps.
yeah, I saw it on the internet a while back. It was actually the first thing I ever wanted to write about when I first got into filmmaking. I originally wanted to make it a feature, but then I realized it's not enough material for a feature. Um, but yeah, whether or not it's real, it's a true story or not, I just thought it would make a great movie.
Totally. Well, I can't wait to see how you decide to recognize that on film. And you said that that one is basically written.
Hmm. I've got the general the very, very general structure worked out. I don't know exactly how it ends yet, but I've got the general structure worked out. So that's what I just described to you as kind of the general structure before the twist ending. So that's why I was going into that.
Okay, well, excellent. I mean, I love to hear that you have momentum on two different projects happening. But right now you've got this great short film screening on September 18th at the Oregon Screams Horror Film Festival. I can't wait to put it on. I think it's so concise, so well done, and
Yeah,
just
for
has a
it.
creepy concept. I think people are really going to be pulled in with that. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the most terrifying man in the world?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my cast and crew because they were all fantastic. I had a great DP, this guy Keel Yulberg. I worked with him before on House of Masks, which is a short that I wrote but I didn't direct. He was great. It was his suggestion to use a Steadicam for the POV, so that's what we did for most of it. I built my own camera helmet rig
Oh, nice.
for it, but we only ended up using that for one shot. He pointed out that it's the Steadicam is what stabilizes the footage, so you don't have the Blair Witch situation where you're
Right.
making people vomit in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to avoid that. But there was one shot where it was kind of where it was, I didn't think the Steadicam really worked for that. It didn't look too real to me, so I decided to go with the helmet for that one shot. But the rest of it, like Keel's great with the Steadicam, so the footage I think looks great.
Well, that's really cool, man. And I feel like this is a good example about how when you're working with these people, people are going to bring their expertise and bring their experience. And it is this big collaborative thing where you use everyone's strengths and it just has a great result. Well, anyway, man, Sam, thank you so much for talking with me. I
Uh,
cannot wait to screen this tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you then.
Excellent, man. I'll see you then. I'm looking forward to seeing your next films.
Awesome. All right.
Take care.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye.